What's going on, everybody? Just want to give you a quick tour of my shop before I enclose the whole back wall so you get an idea how I did it. I'm new to YouTube. I don't make many videos. In fact, this might be my first video. It's not planning on being my first video. I'm going to post it after I do the exterior and the concrete and talk about my shop. But I gotta get this filmed before I finish so I can explain to y'all how I did it. So without further ado, I don't know how to turn this camera around. Apparently you can't. That's awesome. You really can't switch cameras? That's just like ridiculous, the iPhone, come on. All right, well, stay tuned for part 2. All right, part 2, I'll have to splice it in and get it all together. So my building, I think I got installed this January, about 6 months ago now. It's a 30 by 50 by 12, and it's horizontal siding. So as you can see, my tubular beams are just vertical up and down. I don't have anything going east to west. You only get the east to west if you do a vertical siding structure. So for those of you who might not know, this is horizontal siding. So with that, I guess companies don't feel you need the extra bracing, so it might be a little less sturdy. I'm not 100% sure. They promise you it's just as sturdy. This is rated for 180 mile-an-hour winds because I upgraded my tubing to 12 gauge, I think it was, and my siding to 26 from 29. But anyway, that'll be in the first video. So I got this lumber from a guy up in north of Houston, the Woodlands area. It's rough sawn lumber, or barnwood as you might call it. One of the common problems with these metal shops is there's no way to secure anything to the walls. So what you have to typically do is just run a 2x4 from post to post and then hang what you want, in between. And to me, it just doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. Looks like garbage. I like uniformity. I'm OCD to an extent, and I just like nice looking things. So what I decided to do, and I can't take 100% credit for this because I did copy a guy I saw on YouTube. That's what we do. We just copy and make it our own. But his name was, I think, Project Dad Life. And he had a little bit smaller shop. He did the exact same thing I'm doing. I kind of used his video as a DIY for myself. However, his building was vertical siding. So he just screwed in his 2x4, or I'm sorry, I think he actually used a 1x4. I'll talk about that in a second. So he used a 1x4 going across his metal beams because, again, he had the vertical siding, so his metal beams also ran east to west. So he just screwed his 1x4 to the bottom half of the beam all the way down the structure. And he only did 3 going across. I did 4. The reasoning for that is I have to screw all of my screws into my posts. So everything in the middle is not technically supported by anything. However, it is very, very strong. I mean, it's not going anywhere. I bring that up because I started using 2x4s. So if we go down here where I started, you'll see I used 1x4s. And then when I went to lay my first board, my 1x4 wasn't wide enough or thick enough, you can say, to clear my conduit for all my electrical. So I ran into some problems there. So I had to take it all back out, cut 6-inch pieces and make it a 2x4 just in the sections where it screws to the wood or the beam. So I did about 4, 5, 8, I don't know how many boards, and it looks great. However, it's like there's some flex in it. If you can, I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a little bit of flex to it. And if you can see, it stops flexing at like this 9th board when you push on it. And that's just because I have those 1x4s running across and they're not as sturdy. So I didn't like that, but I wasn't gonna take it down and do it all over again. So I started using 2x4s. And now it's sturdy as hell. I mean, it don't even shake. So this is more than anything decorative. I will be hanging some things on here as far as like a compressor reel, some posters, maybe some pegboard with light and moderate tools, nothing super heavy. So I'm not too worried about the first 4 or 5 boards or however many I said. And once I get this layout in here done, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be my toolbox workbench area. So nothing really high will be supported up there. So I'm not really too worried about it. But before I got done, I wanted to take y'all through how I did it. In case you want a copy, you know, do something alike. This is what you're looking at. Home Depot, Lowe's, the yellow and, or sorry, the orange and blue stores, they don't sell rough sawn lumber in the 1x12 by 12. So you have to source it yourself from a mill, which I did. I think I paid about $16 a board, maybe 15. I think it was about $8.50 for 55 of them. And then I ended up getting, like, he gave me another 10. So 65 by $8.50. And then maybe another 80 in 2x4s or so. No, about $100 in screws and everything else. Nevertheless, that's how I did it. Just want to show you real quick before I finish. I don't think it's necessary to do 4, but I did just in case. So I don't want to ever have to take this down and redo it. Another thing I copied from Project Dad Life is he did lay a 1x4 on the bottom just in case you wash cars in here, because I do have a drain I put in. So if you want to wash cars or you spill something, I don't know. I mean, the rough sawn isn't treated, so it will suck up the water and retain moisture. So I copied him on that as well. I did spray it. He also sprays his down with some bleach before he hangs it, which I did as well. The only thing I did different than him is I burned mine. So I'm taking a propane torch, a heavy duty one, a bigger one, a full tank. I don't know the proper term for it, but I burn all my wood before I put it up. I just think it gives it a much nicer accent piece for the backdrop. And then I'm probably going to enclose the sides with just, was it OSB, I think it's called? Just 8 foot up. I'm not going the full way. There's no need right now. Just about 8 foot. I think I'm gonna paint that black, and then it'll give a nice contrast to the burn marks in the wood. So that's what I'm doing. Appreciate y'all watching. I don't have a spiel like many other YouTubers, but I'm gonna try this YouTube thing out just for fun. So thanks for tuning in. I'll be sure to show you a picture or a new video once I'm done. Take care.